Welcome to Campbell College Technology and Design Department. This video will focus on the use of the Tenon Saw. Now the Tenon Saw is a tool that we will use across the Year 8 to 14 once again, but we teach the fundamental skill in Year 8 when they're making their plane project. Now if we look at a Tenon Saw, it's sitting out on the table here. First of all, how does it differ from the coping saw? It has a brass shoulder and a large blade, and the teeth tilt slightly forward because most of the cutting is done on the forward stroke. It's used to cut to size, and it's for accurate cutting and straight cuts. There's no way of cutting irregular shapes like you can on the coping saw because of course the blade can't be manipulated in the same manner. So in order to sort of first of all prepare ourselves for that, whenever using the Tenon Saw, as you can sort of see here in the form, we will be using what we refer to in the college as the snooker player stance. So we'll actually have a leading foot. I'm right-handed, so my left foot will be my leading foot, and we physically lean forward, just as you'd be playing a shot in snooker or pool. So that's how we teach it with regards to our stance. Slightly different because one hand is on the tool itself. You can see if you sort of take your fingers off the, as we refer to in the college, the pupils, is the pistol grip. And the pistol grip, obviously it creates like a U shape here. Obviously a U shape grip can be used, but the boys always like us keeping a theme. So in this scenario we refer to the pistol grip, and they always remember that well. The index finger is very important in this scenario because it maintains proper control. If we had our whole hand like that, the blade is able and the saw is able to move back and forward. However, with the index finger we have an awful lot more control over the saw when we're using it. Now before we actually cut it out, we have a piece marked out here already. It's important to cut across the grain. Of course, on a piece of pine as this is, the grains move across, and in order to get accurate cuts made, we need to break the grain. Okay. To do that, there we use a cutting knife. Okay, and you can see this here. The cutting knife is able to mark out. Okay, or the marking knife as it's also referred to, and this sharp blade will cut the grains across to allow the saw blade. Now to support that there we will use a tri-square, and we'll use the steel edge of the tri-square to allow us to make these cuts. So with it inside our marking lines, you can see the marking lines there very faintly behind the blade. We'll push the marking knife down and we will break the grain across the surface. And slide it across and repeat the process again. Now that seems like something unnecessary, but what that's actually doing is making it an awful lot easier for us to get our saw blade in at the very outset to allow the grains to be cut. Probably it's ideal at this stage actually to have a couple of release cuts made as well, because those release cuts obviously allow us to remove the wood a lot easier at the next stage of the project. So how do we do this? Well, first of all, we always recommend that you don't start on the outside. These cuts have got to be very accurate. You're on your pencil line, and it's important you don't move over that, otherwise your wing won't fit in your plane. So we use these release cuts as practice cuts. So we allow the blade, first of all, once again you can see I'm using my thumb to support the edge of the blade, and that allows the blade to lean against it so it doesn't move about too much. Now allow the saw to sink into the little grain that you made. It's always ideal that you get a starting point, and you can see there that will very, very quickly, once you start, allow it to slip into the grain. Now once you start itself, you'll see it moves across. You want to then bring your other hand around so you have your double pistol grip. Now that will allow you to create more force and to cut it slightly quicker, but it's very important to ensure that the blade is always running flat to the workpiece, otherwise you can make a deeper cut on one side than on the other. Just check the other side of the workpiece, it's brown, and you can see that there's all the way through. Repeat the process for the other side, once again ensuring that you're allowed to slip into the groove with the marking knife. And you can see there, getting it down to this, the line again. Now, this obviously that's two practice cuts, and those are the cuts that we allow the students, and you're able to sort of make mistakes on. Once you come to the outside, it's very, very important that you do not move beyond your pencil line. You want to remain on the waist side of the wood as the hatching off and the inside indicates. So just take that little bit extra care whenever you're starting your cut off, that your saw slots in perfectly alongside your pencil line. Just stop and check it. You can see I can still see my pencil line there, so I'm happy that I've angled it up. I'm now cutting straight. So bring the other hand on so you can cut the pistol grip. If you listen to the noise, you'll hear that most of the cut is made on the forward stroke. It's still cutting as it moves back, but most of the damage to the wood and most of the cutting action occurs on the forward stroke. And just double checking both sides. Yes, we're down to the line. Then move to our final line again. You can see once again, just take a little bit extra care getting the blade into the groove. The marking knife. And once you start, just take a little bit extra care as you come near the end. And you can see there now, I take this out as advice. It's now made all the cuts down to it, nice straight lines. You can see the blade itself measures about 1 millimetre, so you always need to take that into consideration when you're making your cuts, that you don't start on the line, otherwise your accuracy is decreased because of course it's taking 0.5 mm off your cut when you're creating a slot. That completes the skill on this video. If that's helpful in using the Tenon Saw, please tune in to the rest of the YouTube clips to learn other tools.